the biggest benefit to this is it puts it into the residents' hands, because there has been a lot of debate back and forth. Should it be this way? Shouldn't it be that way? This would give the residents the deciding decision to say, yes, we want it that way, or no, we don't. So I don't see any harm in putting it out to the residents and let them decide. I mean, and then we have a decision.
Councilman Johnson?
That can also be done by going around and getting signatures and putting it on the ballot, just like we do with marijuana. So,
Chairman,
Councilman?
I wanted to make sure that ask that if this is voted in, if we vote yes on this, to get the opinion in enough time for all the steps to be, because it sounds like there's a lot of hard deadlines, like Clerk Bauer said. So, if we do this, maybe, I don't know how long that would take you to do that, Mr. Prado, but it will take a minute, right? That's all I think, Chairman.
Any further discussion from the electeds? Hearing none, please come forward.
Hi, Chair.
Hello.
This really disturbs me on this topic, and I don't know if I have any right to say anything, but, I'm going to speak on the behalf of how I feel. Butch Ramick would have never gave up his spot if that Wayne County Commissioner spot wasn't. He only gave up that spot to take that county commission seat. And before, it was always the recommendation of the outgoing county commission that it would go to that person, whoever he said. Why can't you just give it back to Butch? Because that was his spot, and he only resigned to take that spot. In my opinion, I think it should go to Butch.
Any further discussion? Please come forward.
Eric Hall, 9555 Holland. I guess my only point here is, are we going to have a special election for this? This ain't going to make it by the general, right? Can't go on the ballot now, right? So we're probably going to spend a lot of tax dollars for a special election for a one charter amendment.
Chairman,
Councilman?
I think the clerk did answer in our email that a special election would cost $50,000. So if it were to come to that, it is.
So instead of doing that, why don't we leave it up to you six to be elected to vote? I mean, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. And for someone to say Butch should get that seat back, shame on them. You quit on the city to go to the county, shame on you. That should never even be an option. Okay, this ain't the first time someone's quit and done this. So, and it's not the next vote getter. It's been this way for, 60 years, where the council elects it? So, do it. You guys figure it out. It's not that hard. I know I don't want to spend $50,000 on a special election.
Chairman?
Councilman?
I don't think that Ms. Rose was asking for a special election. I believe she stated that she would like it to just be on whatever the next regular city election was. There was no intention of having a special election.
I get that, but if we go ahead and go through this and get all the signatures, and guess what we're going to do? It's going to go up on the special election. When's the next general election?
Next year.
13 months.
Okay, so
But who's coming?
if we get all this passed right now, are we going to have an election in March? Well, if the residents pass it and they want it now, are we going to have it?
No.
It would be
So we're gonna push it
the
to the
next
So what
regular.
is before us, right, is whether or not the question is referred to Corporation Council to answer a lot of the questions that you've posited here, such as what would be the cost, what would be the timing, what would be the pros or cons or potential issues if we went forward. So
Don't we have that option right now to bring the next vote getter in?
we do. We have had 8 total votes, and actually, based upon the last council meeting, the secretary pulled together all the votes that have been taken. So we have had 8 votes on the subject, and thus far have not come to a consensus. Any further discussion? Please come forward.
Martin Juilliard, 670 Beach Daily Road. It says in that it asks that there be some qualifications too. Wouldn't that person already be qualified if they had ran for the election?
I mean, well, I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna answer another one of my questions, I guess?
No, I don't, the qualifications may have changed. They may have, something may have occurred from the time that that election occurred to when they would be appointed. They may have moved out of the city.
So is this strictly for replacing a vacancy on the council?
Yes, that's the proposal.
Would it become effective immediately or backdated to the last election?
Well, wouldn't need to go back from the previous election. Once it was certified, if it was passed by the voters next November, I believe the next council is seated on December 1st. It has changed roughly. So our charter will be overwritten next year to say when someone becomes official. So could there be a point where a charter amendment was approved on November 21st and for a week until the next sitting of the council it would be effectuated? If that's a question, then, Corporation Council could put within the recommendation that it is to be effective on December 1st, 2025.
So it would, if you had a special election for $50,000, and would that go back to the person who got the most votes? Because unless we wait till the next, not November election or whatever, to put that on the ballot.
Chairman?
Council?
I think the way that's being proposed right now through the steps, all the channels it has to go through, it wouldn't be on till that election anyways, and we're gonna get a whole new council.
Yep.
Or we're gonna have newly elected, whether it's any of us or not. And so this would just be if anybody steps down after that into the next term.
Right.
So it's just the process would change then.
Well, thanks for answering my question.
Any
Right.
further discussion on this item? Please come forward.
Hello, my name is Jason Broniak. I'm on the Rec Commission. I was one of the nominees last month. I was unaware that I was nominated at the time. I learned at the Rec Commission meeting that I got voted on and voted down on it. I emailed each council person before I was even considered the first time. I've received no feedback from any of the members when I sent an email. When I got voted down just recently, I sent it to about 4 members. Again, no response from any of the council members. This issue, I just think it's up to you guys. It's pretty much up. You can't decide. That's all there is to it. The whole idea is let residents decide. They already did decide. They elected you guys. You have to decide. Amongst the 20 some odd candidates, I'm not saying I may be the best person for the job. There's 20 some other people you can go through that I know that were former council people, parts of the city who are very passionate about the city, or could fill that spot just perfectly fine. So I think it's up to you guys to decide that person and go along with it. I do have a concern about the Rec Commission coming up because our term is coming up soon. We're going to have nominations coming up soon in November. I know we're not as important maybe as the Fringe Benefit Commission or the Compensation Committee, but we might be in chaos starting in November too if it's a 3-3 red flag on anyone who wants to be on the commission. Especially a commission where I know none of the members this past year have visited the actual meetings. So you have met none of the members, you don't know what we're talking about, what's the issues that we were facing. Most importantly, Lane Park, we're kind of the eyes and ears, trying to see how we can improve the project in little ways, for getting feedback from the city. That's kind of our big thing that we've been tackling this past year. We had other big issues throughout that, may not seem important as budgetary things, but they are important to the community. So on that, I would just say I was happy that Angie did nominate me for the position. Again, I got no votes. Sorry, everyone, I didn't run. I did not decide to run 4 years ago. I just was interested in filling in the vacancy for a year. Figure it would be something I can do for my community, just like I did for the rec commission. There are plenty other candidates out there too that were looking the same thing as well. And it's just pretty much up to you guys to decide. Anything else is delaying it. If you're doing it at earliest a March election, even to decide upon it, it's still up to you to fill that vacancy.